Poor circulation triples your risk of falling after the age of 60, but here is the truth that very few people are talking about: that heaviness, that numbness, that cold feeling in your toes. It is not just aging, it is a chemical shortage. And one specific drink can reverse this damage not in weeks, but in hours. Today, we are going to unlock the exact fluids that flood your legs with life-saving warmth, ranking them from the ones that barely help to the single most powerful vascular rescuer on the planet. You might be thinking, I drink plenty of water, isn't that enough? Or maybe you have tried the standard advice your doctor gave you, like elevating your legs or wearing compression socks, and yet the coldness remains. The tingling has not stopped. That is because most common advice misses the biological root of the issue. We are dealing with a molecule called nitric oxide, which declines by a massive 70% as we age. Without it, your arteries are like collapsed tunnels. No amount of water alone will reopen them. We have ranked the top 10 drinks that directly address this collapse. Some of these you probably have in your fridge right now, but you are consuming them in a way that destroys their potency. Others are hidden gems that cost pennies but work better than expensive supplements. Stick with me until the very end because our game-changing revelation number 1 is a drink that has been proven in clinical studies to widen arteries by up to 30% in just hours, turning that shuffle back into a confident stride. Just a quick, important reminder: all the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet, exercise, or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Let's use this knowledge to have informed discussions with them. Let's begin with our foundational insight number 10, regular water. Now, we have to start here because dehydration is the enemy of circulation. The primary challenge we face as we get older is that our thirst mechanism actually weakens. We do not feel thirsty even when we need fluids. When you are dehydrated, your blood volume drops and your blood becomes thicker. To use an analogy, imagine trying to pump honey through a garden hose versus pumping water. When you are dehydrated, your blood is like that honey, sluggish, thick, and difficult for your heart to push down to your legs. Therefore, drinking water is absolutely critical to thin the blood back to a manageable viscosity. However, and this is a massive distinction, water alone contains 0 nitrate compounds. It does not trigger the chemical reaction needed to widen the blood vessels. It keeps the car running, but it does not upgrade the engine. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that hydration alone improved blood flow by only about 8% in older adults. That is necessary, yes, but it is not enough to fix a 70% loss in nitric oxide. So, drink your 8 glasses, but do not expect it to be the cure. It is the canvas, not the painting. Moving up to insight number 9, we have a beverage that gets a lot of hype: green tea. You have likely heard it is good for everything from brain health to metabolism. Green tea contains catechins, which are compounds that help improve the health of the endothelium, that is, the inner lining of your blood vessels. Think of your endothelium like the non-stick coating on a frying pan. Over time, that coating gets scratched and damaged. Green tea helps smooth it out. However, for leg circulation specifically, the effects are quite subtle and slow. Research indicates it increases flow-mediated dilation by about 12%. That is an improvement over water, certainly. Therefore, it is a healthy addition to your day. But there is a timing hurdle. The benefits of green tea accumulate over months, not hours. If you need relief from cold feet tonight, green tea is not going to move the needle fast enough. Furthermore, the caffeine can act as a vasoconstrictor, temporarily narrowing blood vessels in some people, which is the opposite of what we want. If you enjoy it, keep drinking it for the long-term health of your vessel walls, but do not rely on it for immediate relief. Next, at insight number 8, we have Tart cherry juice. This is where we start seeing some real movement in the data. Tart cherries are loaded with anthocyanins. These are powerful antioxidants that reduce stiffness in the arteries. Imagine your arteries are like old rubber hoses that have become brittle and hard to bend. Tart cherry juice helps soften that rubber, making the vessels more flexible so blood can pulse through them more easily. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found an 18% improvement in blood flow after 12 weeks. But we have to talk about the sugar danger. A single cup can contain 30 grams of sugar. For many seniors, especially those watching their blood glucose, this is a double-edged sword. High insulin spikes can actually damage blood vessels over time. Therefore, while the juice works, you're taking one step forward and potentially one step back. If you choose this, my advice is to dilute it 1 part juice to 3 parts water. It makes it safer for your blood sugar while still giving you those rubber softening benefits. Stepping up to insight number 7, we find pomegranate juice. This is significantly more powerful than cherry juice because of a specific compound called punicalagins. Here is the fascinating thing about nitric oxide. It is a very unstable molecule. It breaks down incredibly fast in the body. Pomegranate juice acts like a bodyguard for your nitric oxide. It stops free radicals from destroying the nitric oxide you already have. Think of it like this. If nitric oxide is a candle flame keeping your arteries warm, the wind is the oxidative stress trying to blow it out. Pomegranate juice is the glass lantern that shields the flame. Therefore, it helps you keep the circulation you have for longer. Studies show it can increase blood flow by 20% in older adults. However, similar to the cherry juice, the price and the sugar content are high, sometimes even higher, at 32 grams per cup. It is effective, but it is expensive and sugary. If your wallet and your waistline can handle it, it is a great tool. But better, low-sugar options are coming up on this list. Now, insight number 6 might surprise you because it sounds like a treat. A dark cocoa drink. We are not talking about the sugary packets of hot chocolate with marshmallows. We are talking about pure, unsweetened cocoa powder. The Flavanols in dark cocoa are potent stimulators of nitric oxide. The research here is compelling. A meta-analysis of 40 studies found that cocoa improved blood flow by an average of 24%. And unlike the teas, this works relatively fast, often within 2 hours. You can physically feel the warmth returning to your extremities. But the preparation is everything. If you add sugar or dairy milk, you can blunt the absorption of the antioxidants. Therefore, the best way to drink this is to mix pure cocoa powder with hot water or a plant-based milk like almond milk and use a natural sweetener like stevia or monk fruit. It tastes rich and indulgent, but it is actually acting as a medical-grade vasodilator for your legs. Breaking into our top 5, we have insight number 5, watermelon juice. This is a legitimate powerhouse. Watermelon is the best natural source of an amino acid called L-citrulline. Your kidneys convert L-citrulline directly into L-arginine, which then becomes nitric oxide. It is a direct fuel line. To use an analogy, if your blood vessels are a construction site that has run out of materials, watermelon juice is a convoy of trucks bringing in fresh steel and concrete. It gives your body exactly what it needs to build that nitric oxide. Therefore, studies show it can improve arterial function by 28% and reduce stiffness. But there is a logistical hurdle: availability. Getting fresh, high-quality watermelon juice year-round is difficult and expensive unless you are juicing whole melons yourself. Plus, the sugar load is something to be mindful of, though the fiber in the whole fruit helps. If you can get it, especially in summer, it is fantastic. But for year-round consistency, we have more practical options. At insight number 4, we have an option that is criminally underrated: Hibiscus Tea. This is one of my personal favorites for seniors because it does 2 things at once. Hibiscus is incredibly effective at lowering blood pressure while simultaneously improving endothelial function. A 6-week study found it improved blood flow by a massive 31%. That is a game changer. Think of high blood pressure as a fire hose turned up to high. It damages the hose, your arteries, over time. Hibiscus tea acts like a regulator valve, turning the pressure down to a safe level while also widening the hose. Therefore, the blood flows smoother and reaches further down into the toes. However, you need to be careful if you are already on blood pressure medication. Because it is so effective, combining it with medication could drop your pressure to low. Consequently, you must check with your doctor. If you get the green light, this is affordable, delicious. It tastes like cranberry and works fast. Steep it for 10 minutes to get the maximum medicinal benefit. Now we are entering the elite tier with insight number 3, celery juice. I know, the taste can be polarizing, but the science is undeniable. Celery is packed with natural nitrates. Now, pay attention to this mechanism because it is fascinating. When you drink celery juice, bacteria on your tongue convert these nitrates into nitrites. Then, your stomach acid converts those into nitric oxide. Therefore, and this is critical, you cannot use antiseptic mouthwash right after drinking this. If you kill the bacteria in your mouth, you break the chain, you destroy the factory. It is like hiring a construction crew and then locking the gates so they cannot get in. But if you do it right, drinking it on an empty stomach without mouthwash, the nitrates are absorbed rapidly. Blood flow can increase by 35 to 40% within just 3 hours. It is salty and earthy, but it works better than almost anything else to wake up tired legs. Our runner-up, insight number 2, is the Arugula smoothie. If celery is strong, Arugula is nuclear. Arugula has the highest nitrate content of almost any leafy green vegetable, more than spinach, more than kale. It is the heavy artillery. 2 cups of Arugula contain about 480 milligrams of nitrates. Therefore, when you blend this into a smoothie, perhaps with some blueberries to mask the peppery taste, you are creating a circulation cocktail that rivals prescription medications. Studies show nitrate-rich greens can improve blood flow by 40%. But, let's be honest, chewing through 2 cups of raw arugula every morning is a chore. Blending it breaks down the cell walls and makes it drinkable and absorbable. The only downside here is the effort of making a smoothie every day. It requires commitment. But if you are willing to wash the blender, the result for your legs is immense. And now, we arrive at the summit, the single most effective drink for reversing leg circulation issues. Our game-changing revelation number 1, pure beetroot juice. This is the gold standard. It is the king. Athletes use it to win gold medals, and vascular doctors are increasingly recommending it to save limbs. Beets contain a concentrated, drinkable form of nitrates that your body converts to nitric oxide with ruthless efficiency. Let's look at the why. A landmark study in the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that older adults who drank beet juice daily for just 15 days saw a 45% improvement in leg blood flow. 45%. Imagine your blood vessels are like a highway system that has been shut down to one lane due to construction. Traffic is backed up. Nothing is moving. Beetroot juice is like the city suddenly opening up 5 new express lanes. The traffic your blood just zooms through. Therefore, the heaviness lifts. The cramping stops, the warmth returns, but you have to drink it right. It must be raw, pressed juice, not cooked beets, and not pickled beets. You need about 8 ounces, and a little heads up. It might turn your urine pink. That is harmless. It is called beeturia. However, if you are prone to kidney stones, check with your doctor because beets are high in oxalates. For the vast majority of us over 60, this is the miracle we have been looking for. It is affordable, it is natural, and it works in hours, not months. So, we have covered a lot of ground today, from our foundational insight number 10 of staying hydrated building up through the protective power of our sweet defender in insight number 8 all the way to our game-changing revelation number 1, beetroot juice. Here is how you put this into practice to get results. You don't need to drink all 10, that would be impossible. Start with our game-changing revelation number 1. Drink 8 ounces of beetroot juice in the morning on an empty stomach. This is your heavy hitter. Then, later in the day, perhaps enjoy a cup of hibiscus tea insight number 4 or a cocoa drink insight number 6 to keep those levels high. Consistency is the key. You cannot do this for 3 days and stop. You're correcting a nutritional deficiency that has been building for decades. Which of these insights, perhaps it was our peppery powerhouse at number 2, or maybe the comforting cocoa at number 6, resonated with you the most? Which one are you going to put in your grocery cart tomorrow? I would love to hear your plan. Please share it in the comments below. If you found this journey through these health discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic group of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.